Good morning. Today we're going to be looking at Unit 1, the Living Worlds of Ecosystems. And specifically, we're going to start by reading the chapter opening case for Chapter 1, the Environmental Science Studying State of our Earth. All right, so today's aim is how can we weigh the advantages and disadvantages of hydraulic fracturing? So those of you who are not familiar with hydrofracking or hydraulic fracking or just fracking, hydrofracking is a method in which we can extract oil and natural gas from Earth's interior. Now let's take a look at the first task, which is to read the chapter opening case to frack or not to frack. So step 1 is to read. Step 2, you are then going to answer the thing question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of hydraulic fracturing? And then step 3, in order to answer the thing question, you are going to create a T-chart and or write an explanation. So basically this is in your assignment. So you could find this handout and it's going to be a Google document. And you can type your answers right into the Google document. Now, you can choose either method or you can do both. So right now, since you're watching this at home, you're going to pause this video. You're going to read the chapter opening case, which is provided for you, and you are going to create the T-chart and or write the explanation and submit that for today's classwork assignment. When you are done with the chapter opening case, you are going to return to this video and unpause it so you could now watch the video clip that I am showing you. All right, now that you have finished the chapter opening case, we are going to watch the video, Communities Divided Over Natural Gas. So we will watch this video. While we're watching this video, I want you to keep in mind what are the consequences to having hydraulic fracturing, having this method being done? What are the consequences? Are there consequences for health? Are there consequences for the environment? What are the incentives to allowing this to happen? I want you to keep in mind all these things while you watch the video.
It's a volatile issue that residents say is dividing a growing number of towns around the country.
The drilling controversy has pitted friends against friends, neighbors against neighbors.
More and more energy companies are using a controversial technique called hydraulic fracturing or fracking to reach difficult stores of natural gas. Chris Tomlinson is among those in favor of the process. He earns royalties from leasing his land near Dallas to a gas company.
When people started finding out that other people's making money, that's when they got upset about it.
Opponents say the drilling impact.
All right. So now let's take a look here. The reason, why are these people having hydrofracking on their property? So the reason for this is basically these gas companies are knocking on people's doors. They want to use their land in order to frack. And what's the incentive to allow them? Well, they provide them with money, right? So they offer them large checks in order for them to use their land and drill for the gas and the oil. Now, think about this. What would you do if you were in their place? If someone comes knocking on your door with a check, what would you do? Right? So keep that in mind.
The environment, reduces the quality of life, and declines property values.
You have drill sites, you have facilities. They're very close to people's homes, very close to people, to our schools.
Some environmentalists and residents in Pennsylvania's northern counties are concerned the process can contaminate drinking water. Bill Ely said the drilling allowed methane and other contaminants to get into his tap water, and he can now set it on fire. Ely and other residents of the town of Dimmock are suing gas driller Cabot Oil and Gas Corporation. Cabot denies responsibility.
So now we can't use our water. We have a Buffalo out back, so that means I get water delivery every day. It means I can't park in my driveway where I want to. I can't use our ice maker. Can't use my dishwasher.
Oops, let's go back to the video. Apologize for that. So take a look at this. What's a consequence here?
I can't use
Because
our ice maker.
of the drilling that's happening on his property, he's now not able to use his water. His water is contaminated. I don't know about you, but my water is not flammable. Water is not supposed to be flammable. So basically, this method is contaminating his water, so he's not even able to use it. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I want you to think about all the consequences, the advantages. I want you, going back to the aim, to weigh what are the advantages more or the disadvantages more to this method of natural gas selection.
Can't use my dishwasher.
Fracking allows gas to be extracted from previously inaccessible rock formations more than a mile underground. It involves blasting millions of gallons of water mixed with sand and some toxic chemicals deep into the earth and then horizontally to fracture shale rock formations that freeze the previously unreachable gas.
Thousands of wells, relatively small area, unprecedented quantities of fluids coming, being transported, leaving, being transported. And during that coming, storing, and leaving is where the highest risks for
All right, so let's break this down. So what is exactly happening in this method? So they're drilling into shale. Shale, I don't know if you're familiar with earth science, if you took it in the past, shale is a sedimentary rock. Now, sedimentary rocks are more porous, meaning they have pore spaces, which allows for space for oil and for natural gas. So they're looking for shale formations, they're drilling into it, so they're breaking the rock. And if you read the chapter opening case, you would find out that would lead to problems like, I don't think it's in the chapter opening case, but it could potentially lead to earthquakes. And you're disrupting that environment by drilling into the ground. This guy Tony is saying, there's so many steps involved that along the way you can get contamination, right? So you're using lots of water, you're using many chemicals. Later in the year, we're going to come back to this method of natural gas extraction. And we're going to take a look that there's over 500 different chemicals. Some of them are not even named. They're unknown. They're cancer causing. So all these things are used in the process to drill and extract the oil and the natural gas.
impact go. And that's not happening inside somebody's plant in his industrial zone. It could be happening in my backyard.
Gas industry officials defend the drilling, calling it an environmentally clean and cheaper alternative to coal and oil.
Clean burning energy source for electricity generation, a growing role in the vehicle market, and the manufacturing in the chemical industry that has gone overseas has an opportunity to grow once again in this country.
Pennsylvania environmental regulators have scrambled to stay ahead of the challenges the drilling has brought in the last 2 years. This type of unconventional gas drilling has been underway in Texas for more than 5 years. The Federal Environmental Protection Agency is preparing to study impacts in communities around the country. Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
All right. So there was another point, there's another side to this that was brought up, that the use of natural gas is more environmentally friendly than, say, burning oil, coal. So basically, natural gas burns cleaner, which you read in the chapter opening case. There's a less impurities within the natural gas. So it's overall better for the environment. Does it still, because think about, does it still put greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, it does, because methane is a greenhouse gas. However, the overall burning of natural gas is better for the environment. It's not great for the environment totally, but it is better than burning coal, which has many impurities and leads to more air pollution and contributes more towards the global climate change, which we'll talk about later within the year. So that's the other side to this. So why are companies drilling for the oil and for natural gas? Why are they extracting the natural gas if it's so bad for the environment in the extraction process? Because actually burning it is cleaner than if you were to burn coal or if you were to burn oil. All right, so now that you've read the chapter opening case and you've watched this video, Communities Divided Over Natural Gas Drilling, I want you to weigh the consequences, or I should say the advantages, and weigh the disadvantages of hydraulic fracturing. And I want you to answer this AIM question, which I posted for you on the Google Classroom. And I want you to also formulate within that response, formulate your own opinion. So based off of this, can you cite evidence to support whether you think that natural gas drilling is a positive thing or a negative thing? Make sure you cite evidence from the video and from your chapter opening case. Now, there's no right or wrong answer, because what we're going to learn throughout this course is that environmental science is very complex. There is nothing that we can do that is going to be completely environmentally friendly without having some kind of impact. All right. So this first activity allows you to think like an environmentalist and weigh the advantages to the environment and the disadvantages and see whether this method would be good. So please write your thoughts under the AIM question that was posted for today, and I look forward to reading them.